All right, good morning. Good morning. I think we're live now. It is Tuesday at around 11 in the morning, and I intended on doing this about an hour ago, but I had several meetings. So, do a few introductions. My name is Jay. I'm the owner of Section8Consulting.com, and today I want to discuss Section 8 tips, secrets, and tips. But this is really not what you're expecting. The first thing I want to disclose is there are lots of people that like to make books and videos and programs and other nonsense. Let me tell you something. There's a difference between what's publicly available, okay, and you call it a secret, and things that actually make a fundamental difference, things that you do not know. I'm providing what you do not know, not all of the other jazz I've seen. Matter of fact, you type Section 8 secret into Google, and all I see is a bunch of foolish people making foolish stuff at a cost. That's widely known stuff. Okay, any idiot can get. Okay, I just want to make that clear. So today I'm going to release manuals, federal manuals, the kind that if you have them, then tell you precisely how things work, where you see the real story. This is not tips and tricks. It's not advice. It's what the law prescribes under Code of Federal Regulation. Not only that, it tells you the perimeters in which PHA and housing authorities operate, how they make their decisions. And the worst of it all is they would prefer that you not know these things, because then you're at the liberty of their little conversation and what they want to tell you versus what you should know. So the first is going to be the Public Housing Occupancy Guide, first written 20 years ago. It hasn't changed much. And I've linked that in the bottom, along with 10 other links that are going to explain a very, very big story, and they're going to show you the outcome and help you determine how to best handle your case. Dealing with the system is one thing. Dealing with the people that treat you badly, talk to you badly, and then kind of indenture you because you have a voucher is one story. Another is to give yourself the wisdom and understanding to be able to read their manuals. Look, you cannot fight fire with fire. You got to fight it with water, logically here. So the first link is going to be the Public Housing Occupancy Guide, and this is issued directly by the feds. Second is going to be eligibility, determination, and denial. It gives you the extraordinary reasons in which they operate. Anything outside of those perimeters the housing authority wants to invent, make up, or whatever it may be will not work. If they don't follow these guidelines, then you have a case. Second to that, we're going to do income determination, the actual real way to do that. So I'll link that up. Reexaminations. In other words, you have a right to reexamine costs, benefits, rent adjustments, the real story and how that actually should be addressed, your real rights as well. Leasing requirements, grievance procedures, transfers, pet ownership, utilities, community service and self-sufficiency, or SSF. And then, of course, the occupancy guide, which covers roughly 183 pages of precisely how things are supposed to work, your rights, your responsibilities by the feds. Not somebody that's paid $1 an hour that just left their job at the dollar store and has decided they're going to reinvent the federal wheel and tell you you're either going to do what they tell you, be a good little girl and do what they tell you to do at the housing authority, or they're going to punish you. These manuals will punish them. If you're not going to cooperate with federal law, then the matter will be taken both civilly and both at the federal level. And then you can choose the unemployment line. So I want to make it very clear. This video is not about secrets. These are about the actual operational manuals in which are prescribed, in which they will either A, follow and cooperate, or they'll either violate. This is the real secret to being able to successfully take control of your case, to be able to adequately represent yourself and truly understand the rules. So moving on from that, I sound like I'm being very serious here, like a war and a bomb has popped off somewhere, but it's not. It's just that the best way to handle your cases and understand your rights are to have these kind of materials. They're not easy to get. They're not widely available. And people publishing books and nonsense courses about all this, they're not talking about manuals. What these folks are talking about is the silliest shit I've ever heard. Stuff that any knick-knack prostitute on 3rd Street can tell you. And the fact they're monetizing that garbage all over the internet, calling it Section 8 secrets, it's really Section 8 bullshit. Okay, it has nothing to do with reality. Any fool could figure that stuff out. Anybody that's had a voucher 10 years could write a book about the shit I'm seeing out there. So the best way, guys, to understand rights and responsibilities at the federal level is to have the very manuals in which PHAs must, and I repeat, must cooperate. Okay. All right. Good morning, Cheryl. Thank you for all you do. David Gatewood, did all states update their voucher amounts in May 20? Actually, we already have the 2025 rent standards, okay, out. So I will try to get that out to you as soon as I can. So typically it rolls out in October. So 2025 payment standards are out. So that would be SAM pairs, fair market rates. Going on from there, Christina B, thumbs up. Lachey, it is so true. Christina says thank you. And Lachey, I can't even get a hold of a person HA. Well, that's not surprising. That's not surprising at all. A lot of PHAs are tricky to deal with, but that can be it. So what's going to happen here, guys, is, you have the first 10 links PDF to the occupancy guides at the federal level. You've got eligibility waiting list, income determination, reexamination, leases, grievances, transfers, pet ownership, utility costs, and community service self-sufficiency. And you have another 183-page manual, which covers every pretense of federal law in relation to how PHAs must actually administrate or they're violating law. What I'm going to continue to do in the next few videos is I'm going to release more and more manuals. And, the ending goal of this is you'll know as much as any good attorney does. Now, does that mean you'll necessarily be able to administrate yourself and build an adequate defense against problems you have with a PHA or landlord? Maybe. But if you can't, or you're confused, or it's not your thing, I would definitely reach out to a company like mine where we're able to help you navigate that. But the goal here is not information. The goal is power, and that's through knowledge. And if you don't know how these people are, how the housing authority and its employees are making up its decisions and rules, and the rules they got to follow, then you'll be nothing but a victim through this process. And anytime you speak up or have a problem, you'll be talked to like a child at the housing authority. This levels that playing field by you understanding exactly the parameters in which they must operate, the rules and rights that you have at the federal level, and it empowers you, trust me. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to turn this into an extremely long video, and it may not even be a popular topic. So if you guys have questions or concerns related to any matter related to housing, Section 8, federal programs, subsidies, low-income housing, affordable housing, and all the many others, now would be the time to come out of the cloak and dagger and come on and ask me your questions. Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys digest all these manuals. There's a lot to read. Just code of regulation itself is over 10,000 subsections. It's something that I constantly have to review for answers and determinations for many different situations. This is why I subcontract to many different law firms, because most of it bores them to death. So every good case always has a paralegal behind it. Every good case in Section 8, whether it be discrimination, harassment, everything, has a good consultant behind it, because we're the guys that read all this stuff. We're the ones that cut all the fat out, all the nonsense, and cut straight to the facts that actually can be compelling and actually change the tide in your efforts to be treated fairly, equally, and with dignity. If you're not going to be treated fairly, evenly, and with dignity, then it's time the housing authority be punished. Okay? And in order to do that, you have to understand your rights. And you also have to understand the playbook in which they play by. If you've got their little playbook, then you've got everything you need, except for fair and reasonable counsel. And then, of course, you can use federal rules to get them to act in good faith, when otherwise they would just give you whatever reason and have you believe it. Many of you accept the answers and decisions by housing authorities without question. That is a terrible way to operate in the system. You're being indentured to it because you don't understand how to actually use your rights and how to weaponize those things to work favorably for you. Look, just because you're asking for something, because you're having a difficult situation financially and you're asking for a voucher, does not mean that you're on full welfare. It does not mean that is going to be a license to be abused by any housing authority or landlord. And it's not a license to convince you otherwise that somehow you're less than. We all, as humans, have vulnerabilities. We all have periods and times when we need help. The last thing that we wanted to do is need help and then thus become a victim because of ignorance. I'm trying to remove ignorance from the picture for you guys. If we remove ignorance, then you understand what power is. You have to decide which side of the field you want to be on. Do you want to be the ignorant person that's going to get victimized, or do you want to understand the rules in which you must play by and how to weaponize those to work favorably for you, your case, and your circumstances? That is the goal here. That's going to be the goal throughout this month, is to continually push out federal manuals so you guys can understand that, and then to adjust that through consulting for those that have more extensive matters. I and my company, Section 8 Consulting, really, I'm a last resort for a lot of people because people try. I deal with people that are highly intelligent all the way down to not so. There's one remaining factor that we look at when dealing with the whole spectrum of people, and that's unless you've got 10 to 15 years of your life to spend trying to learn the hard way, then sometimes it's more reasonable to work with somebody that can recode that kind of information quickly. So that would be the difference between a person getting on YouTube and being a party clown one day, running a party clown channel, giving out Section 8 tips and tricks, and an actual consultant. A real consultant has what I have. We actually offer real information. Okay, I'm not here to act, to pretend, to bring your child to a party and then play with the pony. This is about federal data, its manuals, policies, procedures, and data. You master these things, you'll be able to master getting yourself uninvolved from being indentured and otherwise victimized through the system while you're simply asking for help for rent. It's a complex system. It's hard to navigate. It's about like going and dealing with the court and judges and their special language they love to use. I think you're all capable of living a better life or your best life. And to do so, you have to do it without being forced in awkward positions and wondering if you've got, and let me give you a great example. And I've used this before. If you get pulled over by a cop and he kicks your ass out in the street because there's nobody watching, and you go to fight and you think to yourself, okay, well, I don't know anything. I'm ignorant. I'm going to run down a police station. I'm going to report that cop. Turns out the investigator is the very cop that beat your ass. Look, you guys seeking answers directly from the housing authority is you getting your ass kicked by the same cop. You cannot address an issue by the same people that are giving you the issue. The housing authority is not there generally to even educate. Their only job is to accept federal dollars to determine whether you're eligible to receive a voucher and give it to you. They're not there to open up a classroom and teach you how to get them fired. They're not there to resolve many of the problems you have. Now, I'd like to think that some housing authorities do that, but I'd say an 80-20% mix. 20% are operating really well. The other 80% is very pickle. And when a low budget comes, low-tiered employees with attitudes that don't necessarily want to earn that paycheck. And so you get dissenting opinions and differential attitudes as you try to address a regular issue. So it's not your imagination. Some of you actually are being targeted by your worker. They're fed up with you asking questions. They're fed up with you trying to get anywhere with anything. So they dodge you. They verbally assault you and other things, and that's the way it goes. They have you believe if you speak one more time and ask about your rights or have them educate you about your rights, that they'll simply kill your voucher and send you packing to the homeless shelter. That's the problem, the conflict of interest of giving a housing authority too much power. It can both abuse you and then indenture you through blackmail. Now, I'm not suggesting the extremes here, of course. Not everybody has an interest and damaging and not solving problems. But I've seen enough of it through my career to convince me that there is an overwhelming majority problem through the system. Housing authorities, let me make this very clear. Your local housing authority is not HUD. These are not federal employees. HUD is a federal agency that receives funds, disperses those, and deals with issues when you have problems with your local housing authority. The housing authority locally in your town is either privately or city owned. These are just general people, and many of which are as ignorant as the people that try to get the vouchers and run into a problem and can't deal with it. So they're not great teachers, and the lower tier employees at most housing authorities don't know much. Again, turnover time for employees at the standard level, the lowest tier of housing workers, many of them come and go within 2 months and have never even read most of policy and procedure. They're just data hounds. They sit there, answer phones, and get angry and talk badly to people. Now, again, I don't want to suggest every housing authority operates that way, but that is the point of this video, for you guys to scroll down to the bottom description, Get each one of those links and spend, instead of reading the magazine from the grocery store, read the 183 page federal guideline part of this so you understand how to fight. Read your tenant selection, income determination, reexamination. It tells you. It tells you what your rights. It tells you the bounds in which they operate. If you're not going to read that stuff, then you must accept your fate. You're going to be indentured. You're not going to be solve problems, and that you quite enjoy being harassed by your worker and other people that do nothing for you. These manuals are not an opinion. It is federal law. If your worker tells you, oh, well, I've never heard of that, then, well, really, she should really go ahead and clock out and then join the unemployment line. The only time they reach out to the housing authority and talk to an employee and actually verbatim code of federal regulation. Oh, I've never heard that. Well, honey, let me tell you something. You not knowing's not an excuse to break the law. It's actually pretty shameless. So in some of our other videos, we're going to release another 10 manuals. We're going to keep going. I'm going to put it all out there. That way you all have the tools. And when I mean tools, I mean weapons to defend yourself, to be treated with dignity, respect. All right, let me go ahead and address some of these comments. I see you guys going along. And I know before the day ends today, when this video dies and it goes on YouTube and it's just a recording, some employee, housing authority employee in the nation, probably a handful, are going to jump in the channel and say some shit to me. That's okay. It's okay to be mad about your life. Nobody told you to be a bad person. You didn't have to work at the housing authority and talk to people like an asshole. You chose those choices in life to work at that housing authority. If you can't handle a fucking responsibility, then quit your job. All right, so moving back, let me take a look at these comments real quick. Lacia 520, I like that name. Can't even get a hold of person PHA. Rhonda Lemon, thank you. Lacia says, yep. Lloyd Torres, how much are manuals for each housing program? How much? Okay, well, first of all, you're opening a very wide perspective there. There are lots of them, okay? And they range in cost depending on what it is, the subject matter. So that's too broad of a question for me to be able to answer. Ron S., thank you for taking a break from the hurricane season. You know, we've had 2 hurricanes blow through. They were weak, man. But I tell you what, we're reaching almost 10 years where we haven't had a big cat 5. So maybe next year my office will be leveled. Who knows? But yeah, I'm glad to be on break too. Awaken, my apartment flooded twice. I had to pay 2x for the water to be cleaned up. Now that is something. I'd love to probe you on that one to see whether or not there's some liability on the part of the landlord. Lacia 520, yes, they do, and I feel like they put me on block. I get stories every day. Look, we get hundreds of calls. Listful says gave us $5, so thank you for the contribution to our channel. It will not be for my personal benefit on my side job. Besides helping people with casework, getting vouchers and housing, I also rescue cats. So that'll go towards our rescue and cat fund, where we feed and treat and go to the vet. I know I spend an awful amount of money every year doing vet runs to solve broken legs and other kinds of problems we get from these rescue cats. But they appreciate your generosity there. All right, guys. If you have any questions or comments, now's the time. I don't really want to make this a long video. And by the way, I'm not going to move the next video. So today's Tuesday. Thursday's going to be the next video around 10 a.m. in the morning. It may be pushed to 11. It depends on my schedule that day. We won't do manuals that day. I'm still considering what topic, but I'm going to post a short video from now on Wednesdays. So the day before I'm going to do videos, I want to do a short video. Now, some of you like that TikTok action. That's what it is. Little 60-second video where I'm going to tell you the topic. And for those of you who are old school, I'm going to post it on my community page, which is a lot like going on Facebook. So YouTube has a special feature called community page. If you look on you click on my picture of the channel, and then you look for community page, you'll see it's kind of like Facebook, and you can type things in and leave pictures. That's a great place also to find out next videos. I don't know what I'm going to do just yet, but I think it's time that we address some of these housing authorities that like to rob and pillage and spend all the money, defraud the government. I know lately we've had a lot of housing authorities that have been indicted, including their employees, for stealing all the funds and not having no vouchers. There have been approximately 7 takeovers of housing authorities recently, everywhere from New York all the way down to D.C., back all the way to places like Mississippi. So it really depends. I think it's time for a good spicy video. I know that one of the Supreme Court decision to criminalize homelessness, in effect, was a very popular video, but I don't intend on making any more like that because it drew too many extremists to the channel. Our goal here is to educate, and though I do enjoy talking a little trash about housing authorities and bad employees and landlords, my goal here ultimately is to teach, not to defame anybody. But we do need to discuss the topics of housing authorities that tend to have unethical behaviors, because if you are a person utilizing the system or a voucher or subsidy or living in project-based housing and your housing authority is under investigation, you should know about that. And I think that's a good topic to bring to the table. Or I may run into some information for the season. But one thing in closing, I'm going to tell you guys, if you're struggling with housing, getting a voucher, navigating the system, a problem with the landlord, your housing authority, or any other issue related to housing in Section 8 or subsidies, reach out to my office. We offer appointments. Some are short, some are long. We also offer casework for those of you that are complex situations that cannot take on any more stress. The main thing is I'm a last option to you. It means that you have tried every effort on your own part to get out and solve the problem, but it's yielded no result. So if you've gotten nowhere and you're confident you've done everything you could do on your part, then and only then would be a good time to reach out to my office to discuss whatever matter you have related to it or the type of help you'd need, okay? I should not be a first option, just a last. And again, I want to thank the person that left us $5. Again, my cats will definitely enjoy it. And one last thing I'm going to do. Through the holiday season, starting October 1st through December 31st, leading up to Christmas, this channel is going to be giving away different things as gifts, okay? There is no requirement to it. I don't require anything. We're going to link up a form on there, and I'm going to give more information in a couple of days regarding that. This is my way and my office's way of giving away gifts for the holiday season to people. Now, anybody that fills it out. Now, of course, I'm going to need a name, an address, obviously, and an email to notify you if you or the person that won a little competition. Again, there's no entry fee or anything like that. It's not a scheme or a scam. It's my money. Spend it the way I want. And so I'm going to be doing that as a material way for us to share a little bit during the holidays from October to December. And again, I'm going to post some information about that on our community page. May even do a little short video about it. This is my way of thanking you guys of 15 years on YouTube and probably 25 in the field. Retirement's coming around the corner for me. I don't know if it's going to be in the next year or 2 years or 3, but it's coming. So I thought this would be a great way to give something back during the holidays. And anyways, we'll address that as it comes. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and join. At the very least, I'm entertaining, and at the very best, I'm probably one of the most knowledgeable consultants on the market in terms of Section 8. All right, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you. We'll see you Thursday between 10 and 11-ish, and we'll discuss whatever topic I decide to come up with at that time. And then our next video after that will be Sundays. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, mostly between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Central Standard Time is generally when the videos will be. The only way to get a real notification is to probably be subscribe or add notifications to the channel. Okay, I don't preach that stuff because I don't like annoying people, but that's the real way to get a notification. All right, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you, and I hope you have a wonderful morning and enjoy the new fall that's coming. I believe the 22nd of this month will be fall. It's still burning hot like hell out here in Texas, but at least it's getting cooler a little bit, and there's less hurricanes trying to blow us off the face of the earth. So, all right, guys, bye for now.